The change to your Social Security payment effective May 1st is something officials seemed perfectly happy to leave for you to discover alone quietly today. But Tim at Seniors Pathway refuses to let that happen again here. You were not sent a simple letter explaining it. No one stopped the news to spell it out for you. And your nearby Social Security office definitely didn't phone you to personally clarify what changed. The program you contributed to with every paycheck through your whole career is now asking you to sort through complicated updates hidden in fine print and jargon alone yourself. That isn't okay, period. Not for you, and not for the millions of Americans who planned retirement around the promise that this income would show up when they needed it the most too. So here's what we're doing today. We're going to review every big update impacting Social Security right now, together carefully. We'll explain what it means for your monthly income, and list exactly which steps you must take before next weekend's. Because the difference between retirees who safeguard what they earned and those who slowly slip behind almost never comes from luck, contacts, or money. It comes down to one thing: knowing what's happening and responding to it quickly now. Here's what we'll cover. We'll unpack the cost of living adjustment now appearing in your May payment and why the amount that actually lands in your account could look smaller than you expected at first glance anyway. We'll also discuss the new law ending two long-standing provisions that cut benefits for public workers for decades, and why May is when those fixes start showing up first. We'll explain how Medicare premiums shrink your check before you ever see it, plus a lesser-known appeal that may return hundreds of dollars to your pocket each month, starting right away. And we'll cover earnings limits, taxes, and the precise steps you should take this week to ensure you're not leaving behind money that is yours to claim properly today. Let's start with the cost of living adjustment, because there's a big space between the headline increase and what retirees feel daily in real life now. The Social Security Administration set a 2.5% COLA for 2025. On paper, that sounds like good news. For most retirees, it works out to roughly $50 extra monthly. If both spouses collect, that can add up to over $2,200 yearly for you. And yes, you're seeing that increase in your May check now. If you haven't looked at your deposit lately, check today. But here's where it gets tricky. That 2.5% number comes from the Consumer Price Index, which tracks price changes across the whole economy overall. The concept is straightforward. When prices rise, benefits rise too. That's the assumption. Now be honest, did your grocery costs rise only 2.5% this year? How about electricity, gas, prescriptions, or insurance premiums when you compare them to last year? For most households, the answer is no. And it isn't imagination either. It's arithmetic. The index reflects spending patterns for everyone, including younger adults whose budgets and priorities look nothing like retirees. Older Americans devote more to healthcare, housing, and basics, the same categories that have risen the fastest. So while 2.5% may mirror general inflation, it misses your experience completely. It doesn't capture how it feels living on fixed income while everyday costs keep moving upward again. This isn't here to scare you. It's here to show you where your dollars are really going. That $50 bump helps, but only if it isn't being drained elsewhere without your knowledge quietly. And that brings us to something many people were never fully told about. It has been quietly shaping Social Security payments for years. If you or your spouse ever held a public sector job, this may be the most important section of today's conversation by far. For years, two rules cut benefits for certain public workers. They were the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset rules. If those names are new to you, you're fortunate, because for everyone impacted, they translated into hundreds of dollars lost each month. Here's the real-world setup. Picture spending years as a teacher, firefighter, or other public employee where Social Security taxes were not taken out because you paid into a pension plan. Then later, you also worked other jobs that did contribute to Social Security over time too. You earned credits, paid in, and expected benefits from both sides later on. But the government used a special formula that lowered your Social Security payment simply because you had that pension too. Not because you cheated the system, but because the rules were written that way. The government pension offset went further still. It could shrink or wipe out spousal and survivor benefits, so someone could lose access to money earned through a spouse's record, even after decades of work. 3.2 million Americans lived with this: teachers, officers, public employees, people who devoted their lives to serving their communities daily. That situation has flipped. The Social Security Fairness Act removed both provisions completely, not trimmed them, removed them. So millions of retirees are newly eligible for the full amounts they should have been getting all along anyway. And May is when many recalculated payments begin showing up first. Some will gain $200, $400, or even more each month from this. Others may get retroactive deposits, with thousands owed for earlier underpayments too. Here's the problem. Right now, some people qualify for these updates and have no idea they do yet. They accepted their original benefit number because the system made it seem permanent once. It isn't permanent. If you or your spouse had a public job without Social Security taxes, or if survivor benefits were cut, you need to move on this right away. Millions of files are being handled, but the people who check in and follow up get answers sooner often. Now let's turn to something that touches almost everyone: Medicare Part B premiums. Those premiums come out of your Social Security payment before the deposit hits your account. You don't ever see it. It's deducted automatically. In 2025, the standard Part B premium rose to $185 monthly, up from $174.70 before. That's more than $120 a year coming out of your benefits. So when your $50 COLA arrived, Medicare had already grabbed about $10 of it back right there too. So your true increase feels closer to $40 monthly. And that's only the base premium. There's another layer called IRMAA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount charge. If your income 2 years ago was above certain thresholds, you might pay far more, sometimes beyond $600 monthly in total. And this is what many people miss completely. You're allowed to appeal. If your income fell after that because of retirement, reduced work, or other losses, you can submit Form SSA 44 and request a lower rate now. Plenty of seniors save thousands each year just by turning it in. Next, if you're collecting benefits while working and you're under full retirement age, an earnings limit applies. For 2025, that cap is $22,320. If you exceed it, your checks are reduced temporarily, but those withheld dollars aren't gone forever. They're credited back later. Even so, the short-term hit can be serious if you're unprepared. Now let's discuss taxes. Yes, part of your Social Security can be taxable depending on your income. If your combined income passes certain lines, up to 85% of your benefit may be taxed. Those thresholds have stayed the same for decades, so more retirees get caught each year. Now here's what you should do immediately. Sign in to my Social Security account. Go over your earnings record. Mistakes can lower your payment. If the public sector rules might involve you, call the Social Security Administration and verify. If Medicare is taking extra, think about filing that appeal. If you're working, keep your income under the limit if possible, and understand taxes before you file too. Here's the simple truth. None of this is once someone explains it plainly, but the system doesn't explain it clearly. It issues payments. It doesn't advocate for you. The retirees who benefit most are the ones who take charge, ask questions, and following up. You worked your life to earn this money. It was yours, and it's yours now. Those rules shifted this May, and the people who respond to those shifts are the ones who gain most. If you learned something useful here, pass this along to someone who needs it. It could create a real financial change in their life. This is Senior's Pathway. See you in the next